Yeah, this is the 11th season of Art Talks, and Joshua Frankel is here. He's been here for a long time. He was born in 1972 in San Francisco, and then he studied geology in college in New Hampshire. He also was in the Army band. He studied music. He plays the clarinet, the saxophone, and electronic music. He's also a multimedia artist in TRC. So please welcome Joshua Frankel.
Thank you. I'm going to use this microphone to make it a little bit easier for me and a little bit easier for you to hear. I've been in Truth Consequences since '98. A little different town then, but some of you grew up here and it wasn't the same town. This building here, back in the day, was an Ace Hardware store, for those that are curious about how things change over time. And that's going to bring me to the lecture portion of this presentation. Take these off for now. And we'll be talking about destruction as a creative process. And I'd like to explore the idea today about that destruction is not the opposite of creation, but one of its essential tools. While we often associate destruction with loss of chaos or failure, artists throughout history have used acts of removal, erasure, fragmentation, and rupture as generative strategies. Creation, in many cases, depends upon what is taken away. Let's maybe begin with sculpture. Michelangelo described the act of carving marble as releasing the figure trapped within the stone. The sculpture does not add material, rather the sculpture removes it. Every strike of the chisel is technically an act of destruction. Marble is broken, reduced, displaced, yet through subtraction, form emerges. This principle of creation through removal extends beyond sculpture. In 1953, Rauschenberg produced a work titled Erased Decroning Drawing. Are you familiar with this story? So you have one artist who's fairly popular at the time, another one is up and coming, de Kooning, Rauschenberg. Rauschenberg obtained a drawing from William de Kooning and erased it. The erasure itself became the artwork. Rather than presenting a new image, Rauschenberg presented absence. The gesture challenged conventional assumptions about authorship and artistic production. The removal of marks became the creative act. Destruction, in this context, was not negative, but inquiry. A similar question or artistic convention appears in the movement known as Dada. Emergence in response to the devastation of World War I, Dada artists rejected traditional aesthetic standards. Marshal Duchamp, you know the story? He presented a urinal turned upside down at an art show, dismantling the conceptual framework surrounding art itself. He disrupted expectations and destabilized the institutional authority. Here again, destruction operates at the level of definition and meaning. In the mid-20th century, destruction became more literal. The world became more crazy. Artists such as Klein scorched their canvases with fire and flame as a marketing tool, as a function. In 1970, Balthasari burned a large part of his earlier paintings in what became known as the cremation project. This artist took all his work that hadn't sold, he burned it. And he took the ashes from those canvases and he made cookies. Great. This act functioned as both symbolic closure and transformation. The past was not strictly discarded, it was recontextualized. Similarly, in 1960, Gustav Metzger introduced the concept of autodestructive art. His works were designed to deteriorate over time, often through chemical processes. Having witnessed the violence of the war, Metzger viewed destruction as a defining feature of modern existence. By incorporating decay into the artwork itself, he foregrounded impermanence rather than resisting it. Destruction also operates through fragmentation and recombination, collage, sampling, remixing practices, dismantling existing structures in order to produce new ones. Original content is interrupted. Meaning is redistributed. In these cases, destruction serves as a method of reassembly. At this point, I think it's helpful to contrast these Western avant-garde strategies with the Japanese practice of kintsugi. Are you familiar with this practice of kintsugi? I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Kintsugi, meaning golden joinery, involves repairing broken ceramic vessels with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. Rather than concealing cracks and repair, the repair highlights them. The fracture becomes visible and even luminous. The object is not restored to its previous state. It is transformed into something that incorporates its history of breakage. This approach differs from many Western traditions, where damage is often concealed. In kintsugi, the break is neither denied nor dramatized, it is integrated. The philosophy suggests that damage is not merely an interruption, but part of the object's narrative. When we compare these traditions, we observe two related but distinct approaches. Western avant-garde practices often use destruction to challenge authority, disrupt convention, or expose instability. Kintsugi, by contrast, treats fracture as continuity rather than rupture. Both acknowledge impermanence, both transform the broken, yet one emphasizes confrontation, while the other emphasizes reconciliation. Beyond art history, destruction plays a role in personal development. Editing manuscripts requires cutting material. Revising a theory requires discarding assumptions. Growth often involves dismantling earlier versions of ourselves. In this sense, destruction functions as refinement. Even as a cosmological scale, destruction enables creation. Stellar explosions, supernovas, generate heavy elements necessary for planetary formation and biological life. The material conditions that make our existence possible are the results of catastrophic transformation, the Big Bang. Thus, destruction is not inherently negative. It can be reductive, clarifying, and generative. The critical distinction lies in intention and context. Destruction without purpose produces loss. Destruction with intention can produce transformation. To conclude, creation frequently depends upon what is removed, altered, or allowed to dissolve. The sculpture subtracts marble. The conceptual artist erases marks. The avant-garde disrupts conventions. The kintsugi artist fills fractures with gold. In each case, something new emerges, not despite damage, but through it. So now I'm going to share some slides with you of some art that I've created. I'm using some of these principles in my art. This is going to be art that I like to work with family photographs and lost material, stuff out of the trash. I'm often asked by folks, what made you do that? Or how did you think of that? Other artists, you may get this question a lot. What was your inspiration? It's a hard question to answer, but I'm hoping that in some of these pictures you might get to see through eyes for a minute of what I find to be both humorous and sometimes inspirational. So I'm going to try to do a little slideshow here and see if this works out for us here. And I'm going to jump through a bunch of them that we don't need and some that we do, and I'll try to explain the best of my ability for you. Bring down the lights. Can everyone see that? Okay. This little sculpture here is part of a piece of work called the mediocrity principle that I created. Everything in this image I'm going to deconstruct for you and show you how it's put together.
What size is it?
This piece here is about 12 by 12. It's about the size of a record album. Kind of playing in reverse order for me here, but when I get to bits and the pieces of it that I used to create the piece. I like to work with paper and scissors and glue, and technology isn't always my favorite friend when it comes to visual, but music-wise, I'm a dynamite when it comes to electronics. These are some of the slides that I put together for the video that was made from this piece. That if you were to go to YouTube and put the mediocrity principle on, you see it. It's about 1 minute and 38 seconds long. Sorry for the rather boring parts of it. Okay, so this is what we start with.
Hit pause.
It's a bag of plastic discarded rubbish that is going to get thrown away at the thrift store. These are all things that were donated but had no purpose, and so we're headed to the landfill. You take different colored materials in all different shapes and sizes and go to town with a glue gun. You have to have a little bit of an image in your head of where you're going with it. I was working towards this space station that was sort of like the opening scenes when they're flying over the Death Star. And you're in little canyons and all of that, but the actual model itself looks something like that before it was painted one flat color. It's little bottles and vials and toys and plastic knickknacks. And there's a finished side of it. I made 4 of these that all together formed a cube. And then I produced some electronic music that went along with it. This one was called the refueling station, the hydroelectric refueling station. So taking you through this sculpture, I'm going to take you to another art project here as we bounce through. Thank you for your patience. I had a couple of jokes, I'd throw them in here, but no. Where's my people?
Can I help you?
Yes, I'll take some lots up here. So we're going to look at some other photographs in here. It's going to be of actual family type photos that I have modified in one way or another. And I promise someone in here will laugh at least once, someone in here will be offended, and someone else probably won't get it. But that might be me for half of these things. All right. So the next. I like working with children's photographs. I find them very disturbing and frightening, and they make weird little faces that just, I can see what needs to be done when I see the picture sometimes. So let me get around this one here.
Get your.
Play. I know what I'm doing.
Should let it go. There you go. Now you can
All
cross
right.
it.
So, sorry, some of these aren't facing the right way. So this picture, I can just turn it. What I like to do is just removing the eyes on picture. You can really change a lot of things going on in a photograph by moving the eyes up or down in a photograph. And when you do this with kids' pictures, it really gives them a little scary twist, I think. I like to work with whiteout and a black sharpie marker. That's it. Just take the eyes away. It really transforms some of these children. There's one that's had its face removed. I like to use a punch cutter, and then I'm able to use the art, maybe stick a different face in that same hole. This baby got a third eye. It became, this one's cut. I don't know, we're all sideways on these. Sorry, I could turn the whole projector sideways and probably get it right here.
Yeah, turn the projector. Oh.
So this one here, all I've done is cut the eyes out and moved them down 2 inches. It's the same person. It's the same person with their eyes. When you're shifting the eyes, can give you all your emotions, or happy, sad, direction of the eyes, the size of the eyes. The bigger the eyes, people find to be very cute and to be safe. The little eyes are beady and scary. I'm just going to turn the whole projector at this point, if we could. I'll explain this picture to you. This is a little baby, and what I like going on here is I just give him eyebrows. Just give him the child eyebrows. I like to think that this guy might be like a young Martin Scorsese, you know? And here he is, and you know, he's trying to, here he is. Hey, what's the matter with you, motherfucker? Hey, you know? What, I made you laugh? I'm like a clown to you? I can just see it. Young Joe Pesci in there. Well, fuck you. He's telling me, man. What's the same to you, man? All you got was an eyebrow. the hand movement is the one that, can I get the camera person, please? It's the hand gesture that really made me, that's what really made me think he was really telling off somebody, you know, look at that hand. What's the matter with you? Yeah, no. I thought those old New Yorkers learned that later on in life, but apparently you're like born. There's a little slider on the top that can give you
Those eyebrows.
there's a little slider that can give you focus.
Okay, well, it's upside down, so hold on.
Hey, what's the matter with you? Okay. These will be some more, what can be done with just using white, just using the white out. I'll go through, everybody in this picture has had their eyes removed, and they've been re-blackened in. And I'll sit there with a big stack of other family photos of big groups of people. Here they are, they're all at a family party. Here they are. I don't know any of these people. These photographs all ended up in the trash at some point. It's a nice, maybe it's a family wedding. Meeting grandma. Everyone's dirty kitchen. Okay, even the dog got some. Do the inside of the glasses. That's always fun to change up a picture. Oh, nice couple there. They've been around for many years. Sometimes when I don't use just whiteout or Sharpie, I like to use bubbly eyes, goggle eyes. They're very fun. There's one there with the googly eyes. Those are shaking around, they move. And we come back around here to our installation. Lights up. You can turn the lights on, please. Thank you, Destiny. So that was a little trip through some of the family photographs and found funnies, and then some of the plastic stuff that I pulled out of the trash and worked with. And I'd like to take last moment of the time here to open the floor up for any questions or discussion of myself as an artist or any of the work. Yes, Jeff, please.
The first pieces you showed with the bits and pieces of plastic and whatnot, and then they're all combined into one final piece. It's all finished off in one color. What did you do? Is that spray painted? Is it rubber coating or what?
It is. I use spray paint, and then I'll do it in a gray.
Have you explored other colors or?
I did. They tend to pick up a lot of shadows that were unintended, or when I'm trying to film over it, the gray really tends to add a uniformity. And the black or white was definitely way too heavy. And then when I left colors or added colors into it, I also found that it became a little bit distracting from the intent, which was supposed to feel as if you were flying over a cityscape. And those are all buildings and transformers.
Well, they look like they're meant to be hung on a wall pieces. Have you done some that are freestanding or sculptural?
I did. As well? I did. I have 4 that can hang on a wall, and then there's one that forms a cube. So it's all 6 sides, different all material. And that one side is always at a loss because it's going to be on the bottom. So I like to hang that one and let it float as if it was a space, as if it was in space.
Why are you so fascinated with eyeballs?
The windows to the soul. So I just feel like so much expression is just held in the eyes alone, and Often you can block off somebody's face from the nose down and the forehead up, and you still know who they are. You can tell someone through their eyes. And looking back into your own eyes can be a real reality test sometimes. So windows to the soul, for sure.
Josh, talking about the eyes in your earlier talk, so what you've done with the eyes is some of that erasure. You're erasing the real eyes and then coming up with another creative element.
I do. I like to add just the black and the white because it takes the photograph out of reality and it turns it half into cartoon form. And so, if as the original intention of the photograph was to capture this specific moment in time, I've now altered it to my liking, at the destruction of the original intent of the person who took the photograph, but it's not destroyed and going to the landfill, it's going to live on as now a smiley face. Or the next person who gets it, maybe they'll throw it away, but it wasn't me. Yes, please.
It looks like a lot of your face things are done manually. You cut and paste and fill in and draw. Have you considered experimenting with that digitally, bringing it into a computer and manipulating it? Or does that take the tactile?
It completely removes the tactile from me, and it also removes the hunt, which I love. Like, I'll go to a yard sale and often head right to the dumpster because the things that people have chosen to throw away are exactly what I'm looking for. Old family photographs, family photograph albums, because this person in the family got divorced and this person died. They don't even know who's in the picture, so they throw them all away. And I've got filing cabinets full going back to people with horse and buggy coming across all the way through when they stopped making pictures about 2000, and you can't find photographs like that anymore because they are all digital. I love to rip and cut and feel the texture of the paper. When I'm working with digital, which I do a lot musically, the same thing, cutting and pasting. I don't get that pleasure from going around the image and then hitting cut. It doesn't fill that.
I only ask because I would think you would have more options to experiment with the same photo and get different results and say, I like this better than that. Whereas once you cut your piece, that's the final thing, pretty much. It becomes quite fun when you cut it and then you add some paint on top of it. I do have a series of pictures that I've digitally modified, changed the color of, changed the tone and the contrast, and there's a little piece of my brain that feels like it's cheating. It feels like that computer's getting the good part of it. I love the way it turns out, but I would prefer in my art, in my house, I'd prefer a 5 or a 7 color silkscreen print to any digital print ever created. The value in a print and the art and the technique that someone like Kyle and Jean are doing up there, and the history of printing, it could just go away with an ink cartridge. It's so easy. And now in the world of AI, I mean, you can think of any picture that you could create, and before you can finish the sentence, it will have created that image for you. And that's not very much fun. There's not a lot of fun in that. Did it?
What's the significance of 1972 on your cat?
Birthday. Year of my birthday,
Birth year?
53. San Francisco. My mom, she was there. I want to thank
thank you all for coming today. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.